right, good evening, everyone. This is Brody from Outperform Fitness, and welcome to tonight's career chat. So we've got Sam with us tonight, and he has just completed the new condensed 3-week Army Reserves course, and he's now working towards being a qualified rifleman in the infantry. Sam is a member of my Battle Ready program, so he's enrolled in the Fit for Service training plan. So this is a specialized training plan to help applicants and currently serving members prepare for their fitness tests and physical demands of careers like the Army, the police, the fire services, and all other types of tactical careers just like that. So if you want to excel in your upcoming fitness test and be in peak condition for your role, then you can find out more about this Battle Ready program in the link in the description, or you can simply just reach out to me and I'll let you know all about it. All right, guys, let's bring Sam in here. Here we go. How are you, Sam?
Good, thank you very much, Brody. You doing well?
Yeah, that's good. So, how's your weekend? How's your long weekend been?
It's been well. A bit of relaxing, bit of exercise on Saturday today as well, and yeah, just catching up on general uni work.
Beautiful. That's what I like to hear. Bit of exercise over the long weekend. Perfect.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So yeah, just give a little bit of an intro on yourself. So yeah, obviously who you are and where you're from and what your job is. So it sounds like you do uni outside of the Army Reserves.
Yeah, of course. So I'm Sam. I'm 21 years old. Currently, I'm living in Sydney. I'm a Sydney boy. I finished up at school about 3 years ago, and I'm currently studying at University of Sydney doing a Bachelor's of Commerce. And outside of that, I also do tutoring work as well. So tutoring kids in maths. And I recently enlisted in the Australian Army Reserve, which has been a big lifelong goal of mine to join the Army for a while. So I'm really pumped to be in there.
Yeah, that's awesome. And yeah, plenty on your plate. So it goes to show it's possible to do, even studying, tutoring, doing all that sort of stuff, and you can still get in, especially with the new condensed course. It makes it a little bit easier for people to get away to do it as well, and that's the whole purpose behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because I could come all cut down from 5 weeks.
Yep. Yeah. So it was, what was it originally, 35? Because when I went through, I actually went through as a reserve when I very first joined. I was a reserve for about a year and then transferred across to full time. But I think it was about 45 days back in 2005 now. And then it went to the 35. And so what is it, 21 days now?
Yeah, 21, give or take. 21, 22.
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, awesome. All right, so just for those that are watching, the way that this career chat's going to go, so I'm just going to go through and ask Sam a few questions that I think all you guys would want to know about, and then we'll get into a bit of a Q&A at the end. Some people have put some questions in the chat group, so I can jump in there and ask those questions, and anyone that's watching, yeah, just chuck your questions in the comments section and we'll bring them up and we'll ask Sam them as well. So just be aware with your questions. Just keep them general. You know, how the days are, what you get up to, all that sort of stuff. We won't go into into the nitty and gritty of things. Just keep it general in nature. All right. Let's get into it. So the first thing, we'll just start to go over your enlistment side of things. So we'll just go through, do enlistment, do your basic training, and what you've got coming up in your future. So firstly, what inspired you to join the Army Reserves in the first place?
I guess for me, it was just something. It was a good opportunity to do something that's bigger than myself. It's also, I played a lot of sport when I was younger, and I loved being in a team environment where everyone's super motivated and everyone's super driven towards a common goal. And that's something that the Army can give in spades. And even in the reserves, when you're not even there all the time, but it's coming in and out, it gives that atmosphere again. And it's really motivating for myself personally. And it's also really cool to meet some like-minded individuals who just want to do something good. And it's the Army Reserves and the Army full-time. It's just full of people who just want to do something good.
Yeah.
It's really cool to be in there.
Yeah, for sure. That's really good. So what kicked it off for you? What gave you the idea of Army? Do you remember?
I think it's just something that I'd always just wanted to do.
Yeah.
You always have ideas about what you can do when you grow up. And then I think the one thing that always stayed consistent for me was joining the Army. And then I was sort of sitting in my computer one day and you see like the defense ads come up, and I was just thinking, why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, like it definitely, and then, yeah, don't regret it at all.
Yeah, good. Yeah, some people do just grow up with that idea, maybe see it on TV or maybe see an army guy walking around town and then all of a sudden it's in your head. I remember, one of the guys at my school, he used to always dream about being in the army, and I never even thought about it until I dropped out of school in year 10, and then that's when I started thinking about it. So.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, now, did you have any like prior experience with fitness training or anything like that leading into enlistment and basic training or anything like that?
Yeah, I had a bit. Like I played sport, a lot of sport at school, and programs there were pretty competitive, and they kept me in pretty reasonable shape. But this is the first time it was all self-directed for myself. It was the first time that I had to basically get myself to a stage of fitness. So yes, I knew what hard work looked like. It was just about implementing it myself.
Yeah,
That was the trick this time.
yeah, yeah. That can be difficult, like playing sports and things like that. You got that good baseline of fitness there, but you've just always been told what to do, and you just rock up with the team and do whatever's on for the night. But yeah, when it comes to doing it yourself, it's a little bit different.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it definitely would have helped having that baseline there for sure.
Makes such a difference.
Yeah,
Makes such a difference.
and growing up through sports as well, just being in that team environment, huge. And if people haven't experienced it before, when you join the army, it's massive, and it's just a really, really good thing to be a part of. Even if you haven't been a part of it before, you will just get integrated into it straight away.
100%.
Did you have any concerns or doubts before enlisting?
In terms of like fitness, or just about
Anything really? Like, when you had the idea in your head to join the army, did you have any doubts with yourself of whether you can actually do it?
No, not during enlistment. I think the doubts came on the first night, but like outside of that, it was no. I was really excited to enlist. I was really excited to get going. No doubts really. I was pretty confident with myself, pretty confident I could do it.
Yeah.
And people I spoke to said it's designed to get through, and you're more than capable of getting through.
Exactly. That's it. And it's good to go in there with the confidence as well. Definitely helps you. Now, how long was the overall enlistment process for you? So did it take long for your application to go through and sign on the dotted line?
Yes, it took a long time for me actually. So I had a fair few medical issues, shoulder reconstructions, which held me up from enlisting for a while. And then in that period as well, I gained quite a lot of weight, lost a lot of fitness. And then the army said to me, defense, DFR said to me, go away, get fit, lose weight over 6 months, prove to us that you can hold it, and come back and do it. I managed to come back, do all that, and be in, and basically just start from there. And then once all the medical stuff was out of the way, it was a pretty quick process from there. But it just took a while to get through medical.
Yep. That's good. It's pretty inspiring. Like, being able to go through all of that and have all those setbacks and barriers and stuff that you sort of have to get over to be able to do it and sustain it for 6 months as well. So well done for doing that.
Yeah, but it made a big difference once you're in, because once you're in that, you know that you're good to go, because you made all those sacrifices and you made all those changes. So, and they said, all right, we're cool that you're going to be here. So it's like, I do belong here. It's not something that you were rushed through.
Yeah. And you fought for it too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. So let's get into basic training. So that's enlistment out of the way. So into basic training. All right. Army Reserves. Where is it? Where's basic training located for Army Reserves?
For the Army Reserve, it's located where it's located for the full-timers, where everyone goes home to the soldier, Kapooka, about 10 kilometers outside of Wagga Wagga. It's one RTV.
Yep.
Yeah, fun place.
Stupidly hot in the summer and stupidly cold in the winter.
More or less, and and it could be really cold one day and really hot another day, and you just got to deal with it.
Yeah, nice. So we've already gone over. It's dropped down from the typical 35 day for the Army Reserves, and now it's down to the 21 or 3-week course, which just makes it that little bit more accessible for those people that are more high tempo with their work and they can't really get away that much. So with yourself, with your tutoring and your uni, did you do it during a break, or how did you schedule that in for yourself?
Well, more or less, because it was as soon as I enlisted, I really just wanted to get going. I waited a long time to get in. I just wanted to get going. So I actually took 3 weeks off with uni in the middle of the semester, which has been interesting catching up. But yeah, for me, it wasn't too bad. The university were really good about it. They were really good at just being like, yep, cool, no worries. We'll get you through. We'll help you once you get back. And it seemed it was pretty similar to a lot of the other people I spoke to there when they told their works, oh, it's 3 weeks. And the works were like, yeah, cool, we can sort that out. We can deal with it. So yeah, I think a lot more employers and education institutions are responding quite well to it.
Yeah, for sure. That's good. Yeah, and they probably don't really care just as long as you catch up with your work. It's on you.
Yeah, they didn't mind at all, really.
Yeah. Do you have any idea? Because I couldn't imagine you'd have too much insight to how the original course was run with the longer days. But do you have any idea, like, with the difference between the two? What's been cut out? What do you still have to do back at your unit? Do you have any idea with the difference between the two courses now that it's shorter?
Yeah, we got a fairly good idea because we were told a lot before we went, and then we were also told a lot once we get there what we're missing out on and what we are doing. So the qualifications, like the main ones that we received, is basic radio, like using radio, Raytel, Med Week, which I loved. You also did like basic weapons qual, so learning how to pick up, action, unload, all that kind of thing with your weapon. And you also do ACP, number of PowerPoint presentations, and you also do one more, which I can't remember right now. But the main stuff that's being cut out and now you're going to be doing later. So field is no longer going to be part of the 3-week course. That's all going to be now done at your unit. They've also got rid of a week of shoots. That's when you also get qualified on the F-89 as well, which they know that's done at the land combat module, which is done at a later time. Navigation they don't do anymore, and bayonet training as well. Those are the main ones that they don't do.
Yeah.
In Kapooka anymore.
Yeah. Okay. So it's pretty much just whatever they don't do at basic training now, you just got to pick up at your unit. So you're not. So you're not qualified just yet as a private. You still got to go through those additional things.
As far as I know, we're still we're now private trainees. So when you still leave Kapooka, you still call yourself a private trainee. But yeah, you just got to go and do a few more courses. So it's a little, yeah, you come out with the same sort of qualification, but you don't have the same as at the same amount. Like you go off and do that in another course.
Yeah. So I'm assuming. Just because there are a few additional things to catch up, have they designed an extra package, like an extra course that you do back at your unit?
Yeah, so I think it's now called, so for instance, so I'm going in a combat corps and a combat role, so then you end up doing what's called the land combat module, and that is when I think that's when you pick up the shoots and field, I think, and maybe navigation as well, and then all the other things that you missed out on which you were meant to do at Kapooka, you then do at your unit over a weekend.
Yeah.
And then depending on where you are situated, depending on which state you're in, will vary where you go and how that's all run, because each state will run very differently. But yeah, it's like you end up with the same amount of qualifications whether you go on the 5-week course or do what I've done. You end up with the same. It's just going to be done over a different time period.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah, nice. Well, what was a typical day for you down there? What does a typical day look like? I know it's a very hard question because every day is very different. But actually, first, run me through your first day, because you said you had some doubts in your first night. So what happened there?
No, it was like you get off the bus when you get there, and they're very much into you already, and it's a bit of a rush. They try to create a bit of panic for you, but I mean, it's all part of it. I knew that going into it, but I remember lying in my bed at that night thinking like, oh, this is pretty intense. I was expecting intense, but this is pretty hardcore. And they were quite creative with how they spoke to you as well. And you kind of feel pretty because you're meeting all these new people for the first time. You don't know anyone. You've got these new roommates and you don't know them, and you feel a little alone. But I mean, like, those doubts go away pretty quickly because you just get more and more comfortable when you get into the swing of things, and you just learn pretty quick. But like, yeah, the first night it was just learning basic drill, marching around. And then it was also like basic things like getting into the right uniform and being dressed correctly, learning how to stand out in the hallway without moving or looking around. All those like really small things that they just pick you up on. And yeah, again, it's just something that you just get better and better at. So that by the end of it, you're not really thinking about it too much. But the first night, it's just such a shock.
Yeah.
Because you've probably never done anything like that before. Personally, I haven't done anything like that before.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it doesn't take long to sort of take it on board, and it's like that thing when there's like it's needed to be done, you learn it pretty freaking quick, and it starts to become second nature as well. Like within a couple of days, and you're into it, and it's just what you're doing now.
And even after 1 or 2 days with my roommates, we were all looking over each other. Do we look okay? How's our uniform looking? We were helping each other and you do that from the very start, because you learn pretty quickly that if you don't help each other, if you're not looking over each other, then it's going to be a really long course for you. Yeah. So I mean, like, it's pretty. So yeah, you get comfortable and you start to work as a team, and that's when you really start to enjoy it a lot more because you're getting that camaraderie.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely helps out. So yeah, just typical day. What time you wake up, general thing that you do through the day. You don't have to go full into detail, just a general outline, and then what time you're hitting the sack.
Yeah, of course. So I would be getting up at 6 every day. You'd be hearing the reveille go off and other hallways being called, and then you go out. You conduct your morning routine. Some days you go to PT. Other day you'd probably do like a cleaning of your barracks, of your lines, and then you would go into some sort of classroom. You'd be learning something in the day, whether that would be, and it just depends on what time of the course you're on. And then some of that will involve like a practical component that might be in the afternoon. You'd have breakfast pretty early, so you'd be eating about 7:30 before you even go to PT sometimes. And then lunch would be around midday, just before midday. And you're doing activities pretty much from 7 all the way through till about 8, generally. And this could be like classroom, practical things, general retraining as well. You do get a bit of downtime during the days. Like sometimes that can be in the morning where you can do your laundry, or in the afternoon, or just before you go to bed. You probably do showers and all that around 9:30. You'd be in bed by about 10. Every night we were in bed around 10. It was pretty consistent when you woke up and when you went to bed. But yeah, as for days, they just varied so much throughout the days. But generally, PT morning, activities during the day, lunch and dinner with all that. They were all at pretty consistent times.
Yeah, and the downtime is getting your shit together and getting ready for the next day.
Sorting your life out, as I call it. And then, but yeah, and you're just doing stuff all day. That's the thing, which can get pretty exhausting pretty quick.
Yep. And for those that are getting ready to, preparing themselves, like when you wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning, is it just roll out of bed and, may hit snooze a little bit and then slowly get out of bed?
No, it's get out of bed as quickly as possible and get your mind right, because you're going to have morning routine that they're going to give you a finite amount of time to do things that would normally take you about half an hour, and they're going to expect you to do it within a third of that time. Yeah. And again, that's where that teamwork comes in, because you've got to shave if you're a male, do your hair if you're a female, get changed into your uniform, and then make your bed perfectly, which I really struggle with. But again, that's where the teamwork comes in, and you're trying to make sure it's all perfect. And you're doing that within the first 20 minutes that you wake up. So it can be it's a pretty interesting way to get your brain started for the day. And it's definitely not something that you can just wait around for 5 minutes, because they want you out in the hall pretty quick.
Yeah. while people are yelling at you and you're trying to figure out what the hell's going on.
Pulling your sheets off your bed and having them on both shoulders and trying to like not fall asleep out in the hallway, finding your thongs. It was the first day is just a disaster. Like the first morning is just
Yeah.
very slow.
Yeah.
I think it's something that you just get better and better at.
You know what's funny is even just talking about it, I can smell what the hallway smells like. It's crazy. It gets stuck in your head.
Yeah, exactly. And you can like see the people like half asleep.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so what was probably the most exciting thing that you did while you're there for your 3 weeks?
Oh, TCCC, easily. Tactical casualty combat care. It's like almost like a culmination of everything that you learn, particularly in med week, and like learning about how to use your weapon, and also like doing things that you learned in PT, like casualty drags and stretcher carries, and it was so much fun. Like, it's great. It's an assessment, but it's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah. Yeah, putting all the training to use.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like you can almost see how it would work in a proper combat setting.
Yeah.
And then you can see everything that you learn has a purpose and it's not a waste of time. And you think, wow, this is...
When you're doing it, it feels like it. But yeah, when it all comes together,
it works pretty well. And it's kind of interesting to see how your training can kick in. Yeah, it's interesting to see your training kick in as well after such a short amount of time.
For sure. So what was the most challenging thing for you?
Probably the length of the days, I'd say. Like they're very long days, and it's not, and you always feel a little bit on edge about like what's going to happen next. Are we doing like, are we about to move off somewhere? Or are we about to do something? And you're kind of guessing. And the secos can be pretty tough on you as well. So you're always like wondering when the next thing that you have to do is. So it can be pretty wearing down, but I think being fitter, like the fitter you are, it makes it a bit easier because you can have that bit more mental stimulation for a bit longer. But yeah, that'd probably be the more challenging aspect, I'd say.
Sure.
Long days. I guess the assessments too can be pretty daunting sometimes, but I mean they do try and help you as best they can. And if you are struggling, always feel free to put your hand up and they'll always help you. So yeah, probably the length of days, I'd say.
Yeah.
Exhausting.
Yeah, it is. It's a big struggle when because you do them throughout your whole military career. Like you go off and do courses, and the days can be very extended. And yeah, you just got to be thinking all the time. You're waking up tired. You're going to bed tired, and you just got to keep going. But it's also a good thing to be able to work. Like you actually it brings awareness to how much you can actually do in a day as well. Without killing yourself. Like it's crazy. You think of how much you do throughout that 3 weeks and you're like, wow, if I only did that in my personal life, I'd be on top of everything.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty crazy because you also start thinking about, I can do all this in 20 minutes and I can do it. It's very capable of doing it. It's you find that you can actually do a lot more in a lot less time.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. All right. So with the condensed course, was there any fitness testing at all down there?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think we did ours we got down there on the Friday. From memory, ours started it was a Monday. We had our fitness testing. We do a PFA, which is what you do to get into the army. So 2 minutes, as many push-ups as you can do in 2 minutes, where you've got PTIs looking over you, and they are very strict about form. And then you've got the sit-up test, and then the beep test after that. It's all something. It's the exact same as what you have to do to get in the first place.
Yeah,
nothing changes.
How did everyone go with that?
You had a few people who probably were a little. Yeah, not everyone passed. Unfortunately, one of my roommates, he failed by 1 sit-up the first time, got retested and failed by 2 sit-ups the next time. Because I think it was just form again. Like they're so strict about the form that people probably don't realize it, and then they get scores a little lower than they expect. But outside of that, most people did pretty well. Like a lot passed, a lot got what they did because you have to do it before you get down there. Anyways. Yeah. So yeah, most people passed, but yeah, unfortunately, my roommate didn't, which it was a shame to see him go.
Yeah. And that's it. Yeah, you don't pass. And that's the thing with the fitness is like Sam's been talking about, that amount of stress that's on you in those first couple of days, that's killing your gains as well. So you're going to be struggling with that, and then you've got to perform at the same time, and that's why it's classed as the minimum standard. You should be able to pass it no matter what.
Yeah.
So worst day of your life under the most stress that you've had, and still be able to pass it. So
because I think we got up pretty early on the Friday, so I personally didn't do any exercise. I don't think anyone else did, and then we didn't do anything on the Saturday or the Sunday either. So all of a sudden, yeah, like you were saying, you're stressed and you're tired, and then you're thrown into a fitness test on the Monday.
Yeah, big shock. Sweet. So that's about it for basic training. Have you got anything that you want to add with the basic training side of things?
It gets better.
Yeah.
It gets better. Like just you got to support everyone in there. Because the reality is they're your platoon and you can't change your platoon. So just stick with them and help people as much as you can, because they will come and help you. And yeah, it's all one big game.
Yeah.
Play the game well and just know that it gets better.
Yeah, perfect. Good advice. Now into your ongoing training and your career. So how often are you required to parade at the moment?
For me right now, I'm still in the RIC, so in Regional Induction Company, but I think so that's every 2 Tuesdays. I think once I get march out orders to my next unit, once I post out to my next unit, it should be every Tuesday as far as I know.
Yeah.
So yeah, every Tuesday, and then like I was saying before, it's going to be a couple of weekends to make up the missed content, the missed stuff at Kapooka.
Yeah, weekends, and they usually do like training, like blocks as well. So 2-week blocks, if you can get away for them as well. So they probably pick up with that sort of stuff then as well.
Yeah. So there's one. So if you're going a combat corps, you end up doing the LCM, and they run in all different states. There's some in Queensland, Victoria, one in New South Wales as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. What do you reckon? Like, how did you stay motivated to keep up with your fitness training? Like leading into your enlistment, into all of your training. Like even before you started with me, because you were only with me for 3 weeks before you went off to your training.
Yeah.
So prior to that, what was, like you said, you dropped the weight and you had to sustain it for 6 months. What was your motivation behind that? Was it just the fact of getting into the army, or did you have any other driver behind it?
Well, I mean, yeah, definitely getting into the army. I guess it's also just general well-being. It's like a whole sort of, general well-being. But yeah, mostly it was just I really wanted to get in. Yeah. And the one thing that they will continually tell you before you go there and once you're there is, and even once you're out, is you just have to keep your fitness levels high. If you want to be successful, if you want to do well. So I guess I want to do as well as I can. I'm in the army, so I guess it's that I really want to continue to do well, and fitness is a massive part of that.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it's I'm seeing just massive changes in people just with that driver behind them of wanting to join the army. Like, don't think, if you're overweight and over the BMI that it's the be all end all. Like you've got that control to be able to change it. Like Josh, he would have been down there when you were down there, but he went through full time. He lost 53 kilos to get in. And then there was another Sam, and he lost, 55 kilos or so. It's definitely doable. You just got to put your heart into it, really.
100%. There was a female in my platoon. She lost 40 kilos to get in.
Yeah,
like it's completely doable. And if you feel like, it's all about commitment, and with that commitment, it does actually make it, once you're there, a lot easier, because you know that I worked really hard to get here, and you don't want to.
That's it. Yeah, you really worked for it. So it's just makes it so much better when you actually get what you're working towards, when it takes a bit of struggle to get there. Now, what's one thing you wish you knew before you started off with your army training?
pretty super fit. Like read the pack. If it's on the packing list, bring it. That's probably one thing. Outside of that, it'd probably be just how learn to do hospital corners. Keep on top of your fitness. That was probably the big thing. Like make sure it is high, because once you get down there, it might change. It might get better. It might get worse depending on where you start off with. But it does make your life a lot easier once you're there. So I think, just how important fitness is, and also how that even though I'm a reservist and it's like I'm not in full time, like the full timers, they're in there every day. They still expect the exact same standard from you as the full time guys. So just keeping up going down with the mentality that it's like you're going full time, like you're committing, and just have your whole head in training rather than be elsewhere, because it can distract you from what you're doing.
For sure. Yeah, definitely. And don't put it off too long. Like get onto it straight away. Like as soon as you think you're going to be doing it, get onto it. Because time and time again, I keep seeing people putting in that application thinking they got time, and then all of a sudden DFR's calling them going, hey, do you want this spot? And they're like, shit, now I'm not fit enough. And they're like the opportunity's there, but they can't take advantage of it because their fitness isn't up to standard, or they're just stressing like crazy because they're only just at that level. So get yourself training like as soon as you think you're gonna go enlist.
Yeah, for sure. Keep ticking over.
Yeah. Now let's jump into. So that's all the questions I've got. So we're going to get in and ask some questions from people that have chucked something in the chat. So we had a little chat for this event. So there's a few in here. We got from Nick. So his question is, was it scary during the first? We've already gone over this for the first few days, and if so, how did you deal with the fear? Yeah, that's a good question. So, what was running through your head to actually keep you there rather than bailing?
Scary. I wouldn't say scary, probably more intense.
Yeah.
Like, because they're not going to hit you. Yeah, they might yell, but they're not going to hit you. So I guess what kept me there? I knew I really wanted to be there. I'd worked again really hard to get there. And it was also just leaning on other people, because one day you're going to get blasted several times for something and your roommates are not. You just go back to your roommates and sort of vent to them about it. And then you do that for them when you're there. So like leaning on other people, that was big. And just sort of having a bit of a laugh about it, understanding what went wrong. And then just, I guess I knew what I want. I knew why I was there, and it made it a lot easier when you think about like, oh my God, this is like, and you're thinking like how many more days you have left, and you're thinking like, wow, this is going to be a lot. But it was like, I just thought it's going to get better. It's going to be okay. And I knew why I wanted to be there. I guess that's a summary of it.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a huge thing. Like knowing you want to be there, knowing you chose this, and it's something that you actually want to do. You just need to push through those hard bits. It's going to be shit, like no matter what you do. But if it's something that you actually want to do, then just hang on to that and see how far you can actually get through before you do. If you need to pull the pin, if you decide to pull the pin or not, but just hold on to that concept that you chose to do it and you want to be there.
Absolutely. And another thing about pulling the pin is that defense travel takes forever to sort themselves out. So if you say to them, I want to go home, it could take anywhere from 4 to 6 days for you to go home. You're like halfway through the course. By the time that 6-day period rolls around and it happened to someone, you're like 5 days away from finishing anyway. So it's like, I don't know why you would, because you end up doing everything the same. Like you don't go elsewhere. So
especially with that condensed course now, for sure. So another one from Nick. He's got a couple here. So we answered this one, I'm pretty sure. So was it a big culture shock, or was it pretty easy to learn the ropes of what's expected? Did it get easier as you went? Yeah, you covered that one, and you're saying it was easier as you went. So he has got another one here, which is, what's the minimum service period of an Army reservist? 3 years, like the full-time role. So it all depends on the role. But yeah, what's your minimum service?
As far as I know, it's like 1 or 2 years, or pretty similar. I think it depends when you finish all your training, because it all becomes a little bit different. It's all a bit different now, but as far as I know, it's like 2 years, I think. But even then, like if you want to discharge, you just think this isn't for me, then as far as I know, I guess it depends on like who you get. It's not as they're not as strict with it as the full timers, as far as I know. But I mean, look, I'm not looking at minimum period of service because I want to stay in it, and I'm not looking to just do a little bit of time and then get out. So that I'm not too certain of that one.
Yeah, good, sweet. What was the average age range? And was there anyone over 40?
Oh yeah. The oldest. So there were 2 platoons for the reservists. So my platoon, the oldest was 57. And then in the other platoon, the oldest was 61.
Oh shit!
Yeah, so like he's like pretty close to actually having to be finished because of his age. But
yeah, just getting into retire.
Yeah, but I mean, like these guys who were older, they were over 40. They did it. They did everything that was asked of them, plus more, and they were good heads to have around because they were very calming, particularly if you're young like me, and they were a little bit more mature, so it kind of helped.
Yeah,
just having a little bit of a more experienced hand there.
Yeah, that's good.
A couple of guys who left like 20 years ago and have come back in as well. Yeah, definitely people over 40. I reckon the average age would have been like 35 in my platoon.
Yeah, nice. Especially like reserves, and I'd assume the reserves and full time, there'd probably be a bit of a difference in it. Full times, maybe the average would probably be a little lower. You still get older guys and girls going through there. That's but yeah, I'd assume the reserves would be a little bit older just because it's something you can do at any point.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not too certain. But yeah, in my platoon, 57, and the other one was 61. So
crazy, awesome.
It's doable.
That's so good. All right, so from STOA, were there new officers in your group, or do they do a separate course?
No officers in the group. I think they are still doing the old 5-week course for the reserves. I think. Again, I'm not too certain though.
Yeah, okay. Yep. Now from Chloe, did you get much recreational time after hours, like on Sundays?
No, we didn't get any.
Yeah.
Because it's such a short course that you don't have any days off.
Yeah. Renee, the link is grayed out. Oh, no, that's okay. There are no questions. All right, awesome. Now let's get into, so we've got a couple for in the group that have asked some questions. So let's bring them up here. All right. What was your fitness like before joining Kapooka? How challenging was it for you?
Fitness was actually pretty good. I had a pretty good level, I thought, and I'd started doing some pretty good strength training as well as more targeted running training, which definitely helps. Like using a lot more on your legs. Challenging, like in terms of fitness, down there. Yeah, the combat PT sessions, they were pretty tough. Like just because of doing movements I'd just never done before, or movements I hadn't seen in a while. And you're going to be doing it in full kit with webbing, sometimes with a rifle. So it's so you got your hands full a bit more, and you've got a lot more on you than what you're normally used to running around with, I guess. So it was, definitely more of a challenge because you also wanted to perform well in front of your peers.
Yeah.
It was good. Like better fitness helps once you're there.
And definitely, like even those, I can't remember the term you called it, when you put all your training to use, like you're actually doing that little course. Was it TCCC?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
That
was exhausting actually. So and you also have to think because you're tending to a casualty. So yeah, it can actually be pretty tiring. But because you've also it was pretty hot as well. So like some of the heat, and then you got all the extra weight on you and all the pressure and the stress it can build up. But it's challenging, but at the same time, it's also like pretty cool because it's things that you would just never do in civilian life at all.
Yeah. All right. Now we've got one. How long is the full time? Do you have any idea? I'm assuming it's still the same 90 days.
Oh, they're actually changing it. So they're actually going to change it up. So what they're going to try, as far as I know, so when I was there, not only were we the first 3-week course, but running parallel to us was the first 9-week course
Right.
that they're doing. So they're going to try and have it so that the full timers and the reservists kind of do the same. This is what they were telling us, anyways, is that they want them to have the same kind of training. So like the first 3 weeks that the full timers get and the first 3 weeks that the reserves get are meant to be pretty similar.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if they're going to continue with it. As far as I know, that was a trial. I know they're going to plow ahead with the 3 weeks for the reservists, but for 9 weeks for the full time, I think it's 9 weeks. Other than that, I think it's 12 weeks.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, that's the first I've heard of that. So that'll be interesting to see if that comes out. All right, what do we got here? So, was there any PT or physical sessions that took you to the edge of your fitness?
Yeah, like particularly when you had to do a few extras for the PTIs after you'd done like a full session. Yeah, definitely the combat PT sessions because you got so much load on you when you're doing, and you go from crawling to carrying to dragging to pulling yourself up to vaulting over a gate, again in full kit. So that took me pretty close to the edge, I'd say.
Yeah, good. Awesome. It's always good to know where the edge is.
So
It's healthy for you. So how big are the groups, platoons, when you go down to basic training?
So for me, it was we started off. We finished with 35. Platoons can be a lot bigger. I think they can be up to like 60 people per platoon, and then you also have your sections from there. That's 3 or 4 sections in your platoon, depending on the size. But it varies depending on like how many people are nominated and everything. But it was 35 in my platoon and about 40 in the other platoon.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure about the full timers. They seemed a lot larger.
Yeah, okay. All right. Next one. So does your unit prepare you for Kapooka? So were you in the RIC before you went across to Kapooka?
Well, in terms of preparation, they more just we had a lot of people who, like guys who come back from Kapooka, and they give you a bit of an insight into like what it's like, things to expect. And they also like run you through some fitness stuff on a Tuesday night as well. They sort of carry you through to Kapooka and get you there. And then after that, your unit will take you from there. Yeah, in terms of preparation, a lot of that's probably self because you're only going to be seeing them every second Tuesday. So if that's the only fitness you're going to be doing, then
yeah,
we're not good enough. But no, they'll let you know about all sorts of different things, and they'll let you know about the travel and all that. But
yeah,
in terms of fitness, that's what you got to do.
Sweet. Okay, how are you finding infantry so far? Are there any particular aspects that you enjoy?
So I haven't gone into any sort of infantry training yet. So a lot of that's going to be done in my IETs, which are going to be done after I finish all this basic training course, all the extra basic things that I need to know. Hopefully it'll be good, but unfortunately I can't tell you too much about how I'm finding infantry right now.
Yeah. No, all good. And yeah, have you because you'd have to tick off all that stuff that you're missing, and then you've got your mods that you have to do for your IETs and things like that afterwards. So it's a pretty extended period until you're actually qualified as infantry, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But I guess that's the idea is that it's meant to work with people who I've got a bit more of a flexible schedule compared to like a lot of other people who've got full-time jobs. But the idea is that they break it down a lot more so that people can go off, and it's a little bit more incremental. But yeah, I think it's 2 mods for infantry as far as I know.
Yeah.
Up at Singleton.
Yeah. Well, it was anyway. That's from memory.
Okay. hopefully still the same.
We'll
Should be
see.
the same, yeah.
We'll find out soon.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, and I think what's this one? I think we covered this one. Was there another PFA and swim test? Oh, did you do a swim test?
Oh, yeah, we did actually. There were not a test, more so it was just getting you in the water.
Yeah.
And if you're not too confident in swimming, they were, as far as I know, they were very good with people who weren't too confident.
Yeah. And is it pretty much jump in, float, get down the other end?
Well, if you can swim properly,
Yeah.
and then you're probably going to be getting out the other end and doing push-ups or squats or something else. Yeah, I don't think it was a test for us. I'm not too sure what it's like for the full-timers. It might be a test for them.
Yeah, okay. And to answer this question for the PFA, we went over that before. Yeah, you do that within the first couple of days that you're actually there.
Yeah.
So be ready. And this last one, so this is our last question for the night. Let's have a look. How much time do you get to yourself during basic training?
It could be an hour a day. It could be 10 minutes. It just depends on what you got going on. I think the full-timers get a bit more than we do just because they can spread things out a bit more. But I know for us, it depended on the day. And when you do have that time, you need to be making sure that you're getting your laundry done, and just getting your uniform prepped. Like sort of making sure you're all good to go before you can sort of sit down and just think. But you get quite a bit. I was pretty surprised how much we got, actually, to be fair.
Yeah. Definitely get your shit together first, and then have a bit of downtime to yourself.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Don't want to be caught short.
Awesome. All right, mate. Well, that's it for tonight. You've answered loads of questions for us. Thanks heaps. You're the first course to go through that Army Reserves course, so it's really good to get that that condensed Army Reserves course. So it's really good to get that first little insight. I'm sure things will probably chop and change as they go because it's a very new course. Things may need to be fixed up, but that's how it is at the moment, and that's Sam's experience with it so far. So looks like you're doing well. Welcome to the Army. You're now in the Army. You still got a little bit of way to go to be qualified, but I'm sure. How do you feel actually being out of basic training in the Army now?
It's pretty cool. It's like, what I've wanted for so long, and it's like awesome to be a part of it now.
Awesome. That's awesome. So again, thank you so much for coming on here and and giving us all this insight. Hopefully it helps plenty of people out with, especially with all the new info for the new course and what it was like for you. Have you got anything else that you want to add at all that's popped into your head, or you're pretty good with everything that we've put out there?
Yeah, no, very good. Stay fit. Know it gets better. That's basically that's the only two things I'd say that I would say to know.
Yeah, perfect. Awesome, mate. Well, I'll let you get away. This is a long weekend. We're wasting your you've sacrificed your long weekend Monday night for us. So thank you heaps for that. And all the info that you've put out there is definitely going to help a lot of people.
Of course. No, thank you very much.
No worries. All right, guys. So before we finish up, just remember, if you want to excel in your upcoming fitness test and be in peak condition for your role, then you can find out more info about my Battle Ready program with the link in the description, or just simply reach out to me and let me know, and I'll help you out with it and give you plenty of info. All right, guys, if you don't follow me already, I'm on Instagram, I'm on YouTube. We've got the Tactical Fitness Forum. This is where it's this chat has gone live. So just search for Outperform Fitness and you'll see my head or our little logo there. Just search for me and just follow me on everything. I put out plenty of free content to help you guys get ready for tactical careers, or help you, when you're already currently serving, to build up that fitness to perform as best as you can during those roles. All right, guys, hopefully you've got plenty out of this. Enjoy the rest of your night. I'll see you all next time.